everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a walkthrough of a typical day for me studying at home. So of course, I'm starting my day off with a cup of coffee. So I came over to the kitchen and my mom has already brewed us a nice pot. So I'm going to go ahead and pour some of that. Here's my mom telling me how much she's been in love with TikTok since she downloaded it yesterday. And now that we have our coffee to our liking, we are heading over to the desk where I'm just reviewing some of the previous week's topics. What I like to do is just watch videos like Boards and Beyonds or Osmosis and use that to annotate my first aid. So I'm just going over some of the topics that I missed from last week when I was on vacation. Then I remembered to myself that I have a tutoring session with one of the students in the semester below me. So I just wanted to review the PowerPoint that I made for her, which is basically going over all of the inflammatory GI microbes. And then I also added in some questions for review at the end. I use my notes as a reference because throughout my last couple years at SGU, I've been making really good detailed notes like you guys see here, and that helps me to reference when I go back for studying in this term and for dedicated, because I feel like if all of my notes are in one place, then I can just reference them a lot easier than going through thousands of lectures that I've received over the last year and a half or so. So I like to keep my notes nice and organized and color-coded and all of that. So after that, we had the study session. It was really good. She's a really awesome person. She was just kind of letting me know about the way she's studying and any tips that I could give her to help her grasp the information a little bit better. And we were just going through questions and making sure that we were all on the same page about what was high yield and what kind of questions that I saw as far as the exam that I took. So we were going through the PowerPoint and some practice questions, just going over which of them were correct and which of them were wrong, and just going through all of the options, explaining why the wrong answers were wrong and all of that. So throughout the session, she was able to ask me any questions that she may have, and I was trying my best to answer them using my references such as first aid and just prior knowledge. I really enjoyed doing the tutoring sessions because it's a way for me to not only keep up with old material, but to refresh and be able to explain myself in a better way. And that makes me a little bit better as far as teaching and also remembering the information. So the review session lasted about an hour, and then afterwards I got myself some tea and I started going over some of the newer topics that I wasn't as familiar with. So one of the topics was neurocutaneous disorders, and so I hadn't really seen any of that information in previous terms. So I went to YouTube to find a video that can kind of explain everything for me. It is all written out in first aid, but for some reason I find it easier and a little more approachable to understand by watching a video of someone explaining it while I annotate and take notes in my first aid. So I really appreciate that. Also, I do have a color system for my first aid. So basically, most of the time you'll see me using orange and yellow highlighters. Orange is for definitions and yellow is for associations. As far as the pens go, red is for super important information that I can't forget. And then black and purple is for any extra information I found in the videos. So after I watch my video, I like to go to my whiteboard and write down everything that I can remember. And that's basically just like a whiteboard dump, and it really helps me to remember and reinforce everything that I just learned. After I had my lunch, I did get a little sleepy, so I took a quick power nap for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then I headed back to work. So we're back to work again, and what I like to do is about 2 weeks before the exam, the brain dump is going to be referencing my notes, but as we get closer to the exam date, we're going to do brain dumps without it, and so that kind of helps me to remember what I do remember of the topic and what I can't. And as I was studying, I just needed a quick break. It's been a couple hours now since my nap. Um, and so I just wanted to watch my favorite YouTuber, Binging with Babish. After I finished that, I did some practice questions on RX. My school assigns questions to do for the semester. So right now I'm doing some neuro questions. I moved over to the bed to finish up my questions at around 11 or 12. And then after that, I kind of called it a night and gave myself about an hour, hour and a half to watch some TV and kind of unwind. And that's kind of what I do every night because I feel like you deserve at least an hour, hour and a half to yourself to unwind. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Can't wait to see you in my next one. Bye!